Okay, that's a little too close. Maybe I'll move this back a little bit there. The lighting's a little off today. It's stormy outside. I couldn't get the light to cooperate with me from the other room that I usually do this in, so I decided to pull up a chair to the kitchen counter, which feels kind of weird because I feel like I'm like a 4-year-old at the big people's table. But anyways, this is not going to be a super long video. I've had lots of crazy, interesting conversations today, many good things. This happened a couple of days ago, and I thought I was going to post it yesterday, but things happened. It didn't, because yesterday was 444 being the 8th, and then 333. Well, today is 4, and then we have the 9th, which is 333, which we have 2019, which is 3333. So once again, I'm being encouraged by those numbers that I'm seeing from a message that's coming to me out of these numbers. It's made it very clear I understand what they mean now when I see them. So this is a really good thing. Short video about linear thinking. Shout out to my brother James. You may know him. He's in Australia. He posted something, and this is not something I didn't know, but for some reason the way that he said it, it just resonated with me in a different way, and it's probably because I'd received some information, it had truth in it, and then with that little statement that he said that is already truth to me, it just kind of blew the whole thing open, and for me personally, just kind of clicked another notch in the situation that I'm in, but it also is very strong to me that I think that there's significant others out there that are stuck in this situation, and the title is kind of linear thinking, which what is linear thinking? It's the word line. Thinking like this: yesterday, today, tomorrow, past, present, future. Thinking as everything is along this line, which is what we do here because we have clocks on the wall. We have lunch at 12, we eat dinner at 6. You know, this is how we've lived on this matrix. This is what our brain has been filled with. What I'm here to propose today is that, I don't know about you, but I have had this sense of waiting impressed upon me just in the last couple of weeks, just a real sense like I'm just kind of hanging out, eating, hanging out, talking, kind of, you know, doing some things, growing some too, but just feeling like I'm waiting because, like I said in the last video, as far as from my perspective, time isn't short anymore. We're in this. It has begun. And I feel like I'm waiting. Like there's, you know, there's things coming and it's like I'm posed and I'm like going, okay, now that I know this, you know, and I just kind of felt that sense, and I wasn't even aware that I was feeling like I was waiting, if you were, until I read that statement about linear thinking and to dispose of it because it is not eternal thinking. It is not spiritual thinking. It's not right-minded thinking. What if there is no waiting for the things that Derek has been teaching us about, for the things that we've been learning about through other words and writings and videos? What if we propose for a minute that there is no waiting? And something really struck me in a recent video, The Hidden Pleiadian Truth. It was put out by DNA Awakening. I posted it in videos of interest. I'm going to post a link to this video too because there was a couple statements in that just really hit me along with this information that I was getting. And one of those is that we're not familiar with this human consciousness that gives us the ability to time travel. All throughout scriptures of different kinds, both biblical and Nag Hammadi and Course in Miracles, many things that we read, it's very obvious that people have gone into time frames to deliver messages to other people. I mean, even something as simple as the archangel coming to Mary to tell her about her coming baby in the days when Yeshua was born. That being came from somewhere else and delivered a message to Mary at will. It wasn't from that time frame. It wasn't even probably from that. Now, I just paused this video. I've never done that before, but Maggie wanted in, and I just automatically saw the pause button and pushed it. So when I review this, I may be doing it over because I don't know how that affects it. It might be kind of goofy, or maybe it won't be any effect at all and I just learned something new. Yay! I don't know. But anyways, so where I was at, this human consciousness that we're not familiar with is traveling, and she's going to whine, so I may have to pause it again and go put her in her bed because she does not like it when I'm not paying attention to her. Hold on just a moment. Okay, 2 pauses, so we'll see how that works. I may starting this all over again at some point. But anyways, Maggie, I love her to pieces, but she's worse than like a 2-year-old. You know how you try to get on phone or you try to get something done and immediately your kids are just perfectly quiet, everything's great until you try to focus on something. And then pretty soon they're in your face, they're whining, they need something. Well, puppies are the same. So she's in her bed now. Hopefully she'll take a little nap while I do this. Okay, once again, getting back to this past, present, future linear thinking. It really dawned on me that I was in a state where I was waiting, and I didn't even realize it. And then when I heard this information and this thing that came from the movie and the movie video, it really reinforced that for me. And I thought to myself, this is the actual truth. There is no such thing as linear thinking. There is no this thing where we have past, present, future. This is a construct of the three-dimensional place that we're in right now. It doesn't exist anywhere else, and it only exists here as a construct, like an idea that we all conform to. We make it real by our collective belief in it. It isn't real. There's nothing to wait for. Through your consciousness, connected with that word again, here it is, intention, we're all capable of taking our true essence of who we are anywhere we want. The past, the present, the future, beyond this galaxy, out to the planets that are hovering above us, the things that we know that are going on in the cosmos. You could, even going into the depths of the earth to visit with Gaia. It doesn't matter, because the only thing that keeps you from doing that is not understanding that you can. So that's what this video is the gist of today, is this getting rid of linear thinking. I've completely, as soon as I saw those pieces, I just immediately in that moment threw it out and decided that I'm not going to live that way anymore. And it's really interesting because I've had a perfect opportunity being here by myself for a little while my daughter's on vacation, and being in that position where I'm looking at the clock and thinking, oh, she'll be back in 3 days, whatever, trying to make plans. I just decided to treat this week-long vacation time as one time and practice a little bit and see how it feels. It feels like truth. And literally, I don't even realize the day's end to the day's beginning. It's been one day, and she's coming home tomorrow. So it's amazing once you throw your intentions at this and you see how it works. Because right now, like I've said before, we have information available to us in a matrix-busting three-dimensional way that has been kept from us up until now. So these things are starting to come to us. They are beginning to flow in. Very soon, it will change everything, and that's where we're headed right now. But these things are available. So this is just my encouragement to you. If this is speaking to you, if you feel like you're just geared up and you're waiting, you've been learning all these truths, there is no waiting. Start working on whatever your mission is in your heart, whatever Father is speaking to you. Start doing it now with your intentions, with your consciousness. Because that's the place where, that's that inner place, that inner work that we're doing. I posted something on Discord this morning, talked about doing inner work, and that those are the people who stay on mission. Those are the ones that are in this because they've done the inner work. That same place you do the inner work is where your consciousness is. That same place is not bound by anything. Now, I'm saying this sounds grandiose and wonderful, right? But I've actually been practicing it. And I'll tell you, the results have been amazing. And the freedom that I feel from it is amazing as well. This is my practice. Once I hear about something or I get proposed something that is already passed, like somebody says, oh, well, last week, so-and-so had this, this accident and their child was in the hospital and, now they're at home because this child has, all these complications and, you hear something like that. When I hear that, I have been practicing going into that inner place in my heart and sending my consciousness, my intention to that place where that thing took place and actually adding my intentions, my love frequency to that circumstance in a desire to assist and to help and to be there in promotion of that person's well-being. And I'll kid you not, in these circumstances that I've been practicing with, I have actually seen what feels like a Mandela effect where it actually flops right before my eyes. That person, and that was just a theoretical, it's just an example to kind of give you an idea of what might come along that this will work, that you can give you some practicing on. That child, within that moment that I do that, I talk to the parent the next day and the child is miraculously healed, or they have come out of this place that they were at like as if it didn't happen, or with much better results than what they were before. And then I've just been doing that, send my intentions, my frequency, and it's in the, it's just for any other reason that you would want to put your frequency forward. Like if you see division in the family, or you're seeing something in your own spirit that you know needs that frequency to keep it up and healed and free. Like I said in that post, which, you know what, I probably should have gotten and just read it because it was really, really good. I highly recommend that you go, if you are on Discord, go in there, and I posted it in all the servers that I belong to today, and it is marked at everyone, so go and read it because it was really good. I should have went and got it. I guess I could pause it and get it again because it is really good, and maybe I will do that at the end of the video. I think I will, because there's some really significant information in there too, and that was given to me, you know, before I decided to do the video, so it all kind of just fit together. So that's my big thing. And another thing that I've realized by practicing this and living this way, where there is no linear, there's no vertical, there's nothing. It's just, this is, I am. I used to have this phenomenon that would happen, and I don't know if any of you relate to this, but if you are anything like me, or you're in that same spiritual space, same frequency, whatever, I've always been drawn to movies. Many of us are. A lot of people who have been open to this truth and waking up most of their lives are, you know, drawn by The Matrix, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Riddick, you name it. There's just all kinds of movies with tons of bread in them. But when I would watch movies, I always felt like I'm sitting there on the couch in my three-dimensional physical self, having my popcorn, whatever, watching the movie. I would get so engrossed in the movie that even my feet would twitch. I would react to it. I get very engrossed in the movie, and I always felt as if sitting on this couch, eating this popcorn, viewing this movie felt alien to me. I felt like it just didn't fit. But when I put my eyes on that movie, and my heart and it just dawned on me, my intentions and my conscience was connected to that thing that was happening in the screen, I felt as if everything in me wanted to go into that screen and be there, because all the things I was connecting my conscious to were clicking. It made sense. That's more real to me than this couch and this popcorn. I don't understand. How can that movie be touching me this way? Like, I've been there. I've done that. I know this. This out here? No, it doesn't fit. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm looking off like I'm watching a movie. Sorry. Anyways, and since I've been practicing this, since that, you know, that penny dropped, as it were. I don't know if you've ever heard that statement where you've got all this stuff in your head and you kind of understand it, but you're struggling. And then the penny drops. It's like it comes down into your spirit, into your being, and solidifies itself. And it's like an aha moment. Well, that penny drop, when that happened, when I read that statement, and it tied everything that I'd been shown together, and I started practicing it. All of a sudden now, what I feel like, what my experience every day is that I'm in that screen looking out at the couch and the popcorn and the people on the couches eating that popcorn. No longer am I looking from the perspective of three-dimensional character into something that resonates with me. I'm looking from that place of resonation out into this matrix. And I have this sense that I'm waiting for, and there's that waiting word again, and see, we don't have to wait for the screen to rip open, because I feel like I'm looking at these people in the three-dimensional matrix and saying, I am very soon going to come out of this screen. This is all going to meld together. The dimensions are going to collapse, and this thing is happening for real. I'm coming for you because I love you. And that's where I'm at. I literally am not, I have skipped into the screen, and this is where I live. And once again, I'm not waiting. I heard myself just say that. I don't even have to wait for the screen to pull away. I can already begin to go into those places that we think are coming and start activating and working. And that's what this video is about. It's just the linear thinking needs to go bye-bye. Now, before we can do that, though, before we even get to there, I've been witnessing some stuff with some ego behavior. And ego is a tricky thing, because sometimes ego seems like it's a good thing. But it's never a good thing. So if you find yourself in any position, what I found is there's like these two sides of ego. There's one side of ego of the person who's affected by someone else's negative behavior, and they get hurt, or they're afraid, or they feel oppressed, or they feel like they've been put upon by that other person's behavior. Now that pricks a reaction in the flesh. Okay, there's that part of ego, being that kind of victim place where you're feeling negative things coming on you and you have a choice, react or respond, okay? Then there's the other side of the ego, and that's the inflictor. The person who in their ego thinks that they're superior. They think they know all the truth. They think, well, and it could even be coming from a good intention in their heart to say, try to control a circumstance. I'm guilty of this one because this is something out of my protective nature that I have been guilty of in the past. Had no idea I was even being egoic, but I was. Being in that place where you try to impose your views and your ideas of the way you think things should go upon people, giving them no choice and saying, making circumstances that are very uncomfortable for them so that they'll choose what you want them to choose. Now see, both sides of that is ego. Both of them are ego. You have a choice in this. Sovereignty does not mean that you get to do whatever the hell you want. I've seen this, knock something down, over and over and over again, and I just have to speak to it. That is not what sovereignty is. It's part of sovereignty. You have your own kingdom. You get to make the choices in your kingdom, how things go for your kingdom. That is very true. But when your kingdom overlaps into somebody else's kingdom and causes them a negative effect, that is not sovereignty. You cannot possess to hold all the truth and dogmatically state so. If you want to be sovereign, that is. If you don't want to be sovereign, you can continue doing these things, but you will see the fruit of your choices and it will not be good. And you'll be wondering, I don't understand. I'm not getting this. And if you're on the other side of that and someone oppresses you or puts something in your kingdom that is hurting you, making you afraid, making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel pressured, anything that you don't want, you have a choice. You can deal with that situation, and there's lots of ways you can deal with it. Stick yourself in that situation and stay in that situation, or you can remove yourself from it. Your choice is not to sit there, succumb to it, be beat down and worried and concerned, like, oh my God, and all these little ego feelings until you're released by that other person and then go and blow up in victimhood afterwards. That's not a sovereign choice. You know what your choice is in that circumstance? You can stay and you can withstand the circumstances if that's your choice, or you can move yourself from them. That's the sovereign choice. And on the other end of that, where you're in that position where you feel like you've got your truth and you need to superimpose it on everybody else, it's okay to share your truth. Don't share it dogmatically. Don't say, this is what I believe and it's the only way. Share it, because there might be other ears that need to hear that. But then when they turn and they do their own thing with what you've spoken, you just simply turn away and keep walking. Leave love with them and move forward. There's still so much egoic behavior going on. And I just felt like I needed to address it. It comes from everywhere. Any time that you feel offended by someone for any reason, that's because your ego is rearing its head. You cannot be offended if your ego is dead and buried in the ground. Now the thing is what are we wearing on this planet? What do we have? What is this thing? We're hardwired to it. Guess what? It's going to get pricked and poked at until we're out of it. Even the best of us that are in this flesh prison, it's going to happen. What am I at? 17 minutes. This is a long one. I said it was going to be short. Sorry. Anyways, what I'm saying here is that this is going to be a constant. It doesn't matter who you are in this game. It's going to be constant because it's going to be an avenue where you can constantly be pricked and poked. The key to it is realizing that. And when you see it, when you're aware of it, when you recognize it, you kick it. You get rid of it. And I think I've stated this in a video before. I have a visual for myself. I look at my ego as a zombie, like in the zombie movies. And I have taken my shotgun in my zombie movie and I've killed that ego. It is dead and in the ground and I've buried it. Okay, it's gone. I refuse to have anything to do with it. And this is how I walk in my presence in this place where there is no time. Now, does it come back? Yes, I get pricked and prodded. I get little thoughts. Things happen. Someone will say something. I mean, right now when I was making this video, this is a perfect point. Thank you for that, Father. I got an email from someone who has access to, or had access to my heart. And I'm in this place making this video. I'm in a great place. And all of a sudden I feel it was not a positive email. It was like, choo. And immediately I felt that lower in frequency, that sense. That dirt in that grave down there started moving. Well, I've got a solution for that. I keep my shotgun with me and it's always loaded. When I see that dirt start to twitch in that grave, I know that that ego's trying to get out and he will not get out, not while I'm in charge. And I literally visually, and I know this may be too graphic or violent for some of you, but it works for me. I cock my shotgun and I shoot that ego until it stops twitching. And how I do that, what I'm likening that vision to, is that I go back to the truth and I realize that there is no spoon. There are no words that can hurt me. There are no devices of man that can hurt me. None. And then I get back to that equilibrium. I look over at the grave. Ego's nice and dead. Ground is cold. All is well. It's internal work, people, and you will never, ever, ever be able to get a handle on this unless you go within and do the work. You can collect information all day long. You can study. That's why I don't even open books or anything anymore, because you know what? That stuff, all well and good, it's part of the process, but until you go into that place, the very, very bottom pit of this internal place, and work your way out, you will never be able to get a handle on this. So please, go into source, go into yourself, in that Christ union. Start there. Because the division that it's creating is not what we want to see. It's part of the plan, obviously, but it's not what we want to see. So I didn't really plan on putting that together, but there it is. And we're here on this day that's covered with Christ consciousness because of all the 3s. So I'm putting this out there for you. I'm at 20 minutes, probably the longest video I've ever made. I hope it's not too hideous. It may not be quite that long because of the pause, but I have no idea. Anyways, linear thinking, throw it out. Ego, all ways that ego affects us. Sovereignty is the circles like this, where my circle can be connected to your circle, but it never comes over here and does this. And if it ever does, you have two choices. If someone's controlling you, you can remove yourself from it. If you get to the place where you're trying to control people because you're frustrated and you want to help them, but they're not listening to you, and you start doing things to move into their circle to get them to do what you want, you have a choice. Move out and go back into that place of sovereignty. They'll hear you and they'll move forward, or they won't. It matters not. Ours is not a place of control. It's a place of sovereignty. My truth can be different than your truth. They can both be truth. Make sense? I love you guys so much. I want you to have a fantastic day. And I hope this video is not too crazy long, and with all the pauses. I'm going to watch it. If it's terrible, I'll chuck it and start it over. But now I need to go because I'm starving. I have not eaten yet today. So love you so much. Sending everything that Father has been giving me, that I've been collecting myself. I'm going to compress it, shake it down, pack it down, multiply it until it's full again, and I'm sending it back out to you today. I love you so much, and I'm looking forward to our interactions again whenever they may be. Have a great day.